I'm good. How are you? Good. Hey, Shadow Hunter. Yes, a lot. Bet. Okay. Yeah, I'm just waiting for folks to kind of join us here, guys. I know that there's a lot of news coming out about the markets that obviously people need to digest and I guess react to the impact that it's having on the markets. So give them a couple of minutes here. Looks like the equities have reacted, um, I guess, adversely to the news. Um, Gold as well, and looks like crude oil no impact. So gold, yes, Nasdaq, Dow, all down since the news. Okay, now whether it stays there, that's the question. Initial reaction is down. All right, we'll wait another minute here or so before we get started. In the meantime, guys, I do have my the risk disclosure up on the screen. You can take a look at that. I think for most of you, it's uh, well known. Okay, so all right. Let's see. All right, we're at 5 minutes past the bottom of the hour here, guys. So we'll go ahead and get started by reviewing the risk disclosure here, and just again to communicate to everyone that the market trader, its affiliates, including myself, that the information that's being published and distributed is to be treated as general information. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offered to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, instrument, or fund. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk and that an investor could lose all or more of their investment capital, and that we should only be engaging with risk capital when we're engaging with the markets. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or offer to buy, sell futures or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning, Sapadia. All right, let's take a look to see what news remains. That there was a big anticipation to the CPI report today. Okay, looks like it came in line with expectations, month over month. I guess a little bit better. Okay, looks like unchanged. It appears. Um, what remains? Well, for commodity traders such as myself, we do have the crude oil report, crude oil inventories report, which always has the potential impact of moving the crude oil market. Okay, and then we have some 10-year note announcements coming in at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So the big news is out and being digested by the market. Again, still some remaining relatively big news week. This is more of a week-to-week thing with crude oil as far as inventories. So would probably remain flat leading into that report, and then maybe come to look at that market afterwards after the report comes out. And so yeah, so that's pretty much what we have in the way of news. Um, all right, so we're going to go ahead and look at the markets here, guys. I'm not exactly sure why you cannot see the screen. It's one of these odd things that happens to me. Let's see. Now I'm going to go ahead and see if I can load my charts. That's probably the more important thing that I should be that it probably needs to be visible. So let's see if I can locate that. All right, screen's fine now. So let's open my charts, and we'll go ahead and display that. All right, here we are. Charts, very busy charts. But there's 5 markets and I guess technically one main screen to look at these this information here. Okay, so so initial reaction was down overall. Although it looks like it was maybe a little bit of an overreaction. Gold seems to continue its move lower. And crude oil was pretty much neutral with respect to the CPI news, which is expected. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at the gold market. All right. We'll go ahead and expand that. So, like I said, the gold market has, has was reacted negatively to the news. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and remove some of our levels here, and we'll begin to talk about this market. Okay. So first order of business for me on a daily basis is to look at the daily chart and understand what the market is trying to accomplish. Okay. So as I mentioned, and as we've been saying for some time now, gold market has been a little bit rangy of late. Okay, although I would say that it remains. Yeah, I would say that right now is in range, but I mean, leading up to that range was some pretty relatively bullish price action. But over the last, I don't know, last couple of weeks, we've been in a solid range between, let's say, 25.15 all the way up to let's say 25.65. That's been the range. Okay, 25.15 to 25.65, and we remain in that range. Now we have a developing bearish engulfing candle, but we've had those candles in the past, and that has not led to anything significant to the downside. Okay, so really at this point on the daily, probably need some sort of break of this consolidation to really, I guess, get noticed. All right. So again, daily seems to be in range. All right. For our chart. Okay. For our chart, again, we have we all know that we just had some news. Looks like it's been received negatively from the respect of the gold markets. Okay, so we have a solid, kind of range that's from a demand and supply zone. We have our supply coming in at 25.56 or 25.55, and we have our demand coming in at 25.08. Okay, So that's kind of our range. Again, we have a developing bearish engulfing, and we won't know for certain how this current candle is going to close for another hour. All right. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. We're going to go ahead and kind of open this up here. Let's see, ensure that we're looking at the right day, and we are. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and extend these value area lines. All right, so I have value area high here. Okay, this is value area high. This is value area low. All right. And then we have a point of control here. Okay. I'm going to change the color of the point of control mark. Okay. So right now, if price does indeed close below, okay, then we have some indications that maybe the market is, kind of changing to more of a bearish tone. Okay. But this particular candle is still developing. We have another 16 minutes. And as I mentioned before, we've been in range. So the important level, I guess, to pay attention to would be this 25-30 level. That would be the first indication to understand whether the bulls who bought this market up back here will still buy it up after understanding what the news is offered here. Okay, so let's go ahead and locate my spreadsheet here. Let's see, where is my spreadsheet? Went away somewhere. All right, let's give me a second, guys, and we'll add the levels to the chart. Looks like somehow it managed to close on me. All right. Okay, here we are. All right, so here are the levels that we're going to be looking. Now, again, anytime there's a news event like this, we have to be a little guarded because the news event, makes it for not a regular day, right? And some of these levels we're tracking based on the fact that on average, this is to happen. And I'm especially concerned with these average session ranges and average daily ranges to see to what degree are they going to be respected today. Okay. Given that we had a news event, we have the potential of some abnormal price action. And we probably, I guess I would probably be a little bit more guarded with respect to how well these levels are respected given the abnormal day. All right, given the strength of this sell-off that we're getting right now in the gold. Okay, so all right, so here are our levels. Just going to spot check some of them. So value area high coming in at 25.46. Value area low coming in at 25.3870. Point of control 25.43. These are all in line. Okay. Settlement, we're just going to go ahead and open up. That's basically the same level as point of control. So we have a little confluence there. Average session range, we're going to go ahead and open up now. This might have changed with the open of the session. I'm going to go ahead and modify that to New York. Okay. And close this off. And so we have 25.54. Okay, 25.54 as the top end of the range. Okay, 25 is that? Yeah, 25.54. Okay, and then even looks like. All right. And then we have average daily range low, average session range low coming in at 25.33.8, which I think is pretty much where we have average daily range. So they're both coming in at the same Actually a little bit lower, looks like. Okay, so 2533.8 is kind of what we have for average session range. Okay, and then for average daily range, let's turn this off so it's very clear. Okay, notice even though we've had an abnormal day, look where price has initially stalled, right at average daily range low. So while I just made a comment that we need to be careful about how well these levels are going to be respected, we get evidence again that it is indeed respected. So this 2530, right? This 2530 that was established by average daily range is the exact location where price is at least temporarily stalled. Okay. Now, whether it can sustain and reverse from this level is yet to be seen. But, maybe there's a fair number of people that ended up taking some profits at that moment. Okay. So 2530, 2530.4 is kind of what we're looking at. See, for average daily range. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and copy these and make sure that they're reflected on the spreadsheet. Okay. All right. I'll do that. And then we'll talk through a couple of hypos. Okay. We'll just say that this was updated. And let's see, 61 was not, 2554 was. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. Okay. So those are our levels. First order of business for me is really to understand in the next 10 minutes or so, is price going to manage to close below value? If it does do that, then I would have to say that, even though it is reacting off of ADR, that there is a potential that we can continue lower in this market. Okay. There's a possibility of that anyway, right? But if you recall, when we were looking at the higher time frames, we were kind of behaving in range, right? So there's really no real direction in the market. Okay. I mean, other than bouncing high between highs and lows, which is the I guess the characteristic of ranging behavior. Okay. You grabbed a small profit on the short. Should have trusted what I was looking at more, but with news, who knows? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a crapshoot. Okay. Kind of a crapshoot when you're dealing with the news. Like I said, I personally like to wait for that news to take place and kind of let the market participants decide what they want to do with the market. But yeah, so again, that's kind of the part of the reason, that looking at the news, could cause you to not manage it the way you would normally. Okay. All right. So I see a new music, charts, and coffee. I said, interesting. I'm not sure what that all means. All right. So in any case, guys, so this is kind of what this is kind of my view of gold at this point. I will get I guess I'll get a little bit more clarity. I'm going to go ahead and open up initial balance. Initial balance, obviously, with the news is quite wide. Again, could lead to more, kind of ranging price action. All right, in this market, the wider the initial balance range, the more range we have the potential of, and the more muted our extensions become. Okay, so that we have to go in with those kind of expectations. I mean, this move right here could be the extent of the move that we get in gold, and we can end up bouncing between these two levels. Yes, the initial balance range is the first hour of trade, so from 8:30 to 9:30 Eastern time. Correct, Shadow Hunter. Okay, So right now, I would say that IB high and IB low probably carry a little bit more focus than maybe they have in on other days. Okay. So again, I talk a fair amount about strategies that involve extensions. Well, any extension that we could see may be muted. Okay, I say may be muted because it's already a little bit extended. Okay, this is pretty extended move. All right. So any sort of IB extension plays maybe have to be, I guess, looked at with a little bit more scrutiny. All right. This IB range probably how you say speaks more to the sort of the failed auction. Okay, where we get a little peak below and then we reverse going to the other direction. Okay. So that's probably what I'll be looking for while still remaining open to maybe a continuation move here to the downside, because we are coming into some areas of resistance. Okay, so in this case, demand. Right, a lot of demand in these areas. Okay, that could cause price to again kind of reverse from. All right. So that's kind of what I have for the. I know I always spend a fair amount of time with gold. That's kind of what I have for gold. Looking to see if there's any questions. I'm still trying to make some sense here from music charts. This comment. But any case, we'll move on to the crude oil market. All right. So we're going to go ahead and open up the crude oil market again. Just a reminder, guys, again, that we do have EIA report today at 10:30 a.m. Okay. So any sort of move that any sort of directional move that we see in the market may not necessarily be sustained. Okay. Because it may be just some adjustments that some portfolio managers or that are holding crude oil are making in anticipation of the report. Okay. So really the sustained moves, I'm looking at the Dow. Why am I looking at the Dow? Let's move and make sure I'm looking at the crude oil. Sorry, guys. Apologize. Thought I was looking at the crude oil market. All right. So nonetheless, I was still kind of preparing to, to review this market here. So we'll go ahead and shut some of these things down. We'll leave the supply and demand kind of visible range tool up because that's always helpful for me to understand the tops and the bottoms. All right. So here we are. We're at a demand zone on the daily chart. Okay. In an otherwise market that is still very much remains bearish. Okay. If we look to the left, we have to look to the left quite a ways and really not find any areas where we've been here before. Okay. So back in June of 2023, we're at June levels in crude oil, which is unheard of. Okay. So again, we are at some demand zones, but we are still very much in a bearish market, right? We are seeing lower lows, right, and lower highs in this market, right? So we have lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay. Really, we should not be seeing or looking for necessarily anything but bearish opportunities in this market. Okay. That's what the higher time frame is telling me. That's what the sentiment is on this market. Okay. Anytime you can get the wind behind your sails and be in line with a higher time frame, the more the more momentum the trade has going for you. Okay. So as I mentioned here, we are in a area of demand, so it's not unreasonable to expect that we could get a little bit of rally here. Okay. Looks like we're at 3-year lows. Okay. In the crude oil market. All right. As I mentioned. All right. So really, in order for me to kind of change my tune on this market, again, I'm looking at price action to kind of guide the way, right? I would need price to break above this channel with some volume. Okay. It would need to get above 68.50. It would need to get above this bearish channel that I've drawn here to really, for me to begin to think more bullish rather than bearish. Okay. 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart. Okay, we'll go ahead and remove the channel for now. Maybe bring it back, but we have our visible supply and demand range. Okay, that's being adjusted here as I expand or collapse some of these bars. Okay, so we have an established supply area here. I don't know if it's necessarily established. But yeah, we have some areas here above us that have been resistant. Okay, 69. 69 is a number that's calling to me at this point. And then 65 and change on the bottom end. Okay, so fair amount of range here. Okay, so again, this feels, even though we've gotten a little bit of a rally, we still are in control of the bears, right? So we haven't really broken, although, you could argue that we've broken some structure here to the upside. The structure of interest for me really, and have it to be kind of aligned with, maybe potentially breaking some structure on the higher time frames is this 69, 68, 80 level. Okay, so until that happens, I have to be more, I would say, more aligned with the potential move, with a continuation move to the downside. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm looking. This feels more like a retracement. Okay, this feels like more like a retracement, and a possible continuation trade to the downside seems to be really what's next for me. Okay, let's see, let's move on, and well, actually, let's go ahead and add our levels that I've been kind of tracking here in this market. All right, so we'll go ahead and track our levels. We'll add them here to the right. All right, here are our levels that I'll be tracking. I'm just going to double checking this. So we could probably tighten up the 4-hour supply here to, well, this is a 30-minute supply. But in any case, the idea is that 69 or 68.85 seems to be an area that we could expect sellers to step back into the market should price head there. Okay. Yeah, so should price head there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and begin by doing a little bit of a volume profile analysis here. So I'm going to locate the open for the market, which we all know is 9 a.m. Eastern. We'll drag that across to the 430 bar. Okay, and there we are. And here's our value range. Now, what I will say is that price managed to get above value. So currently, in sort of a shorter time frame, the bulls have, I guess, are in a bit of control of the market. Okay, it did manage to get above value from yesterday. Value is where 70% of price volume was traded. The prices in which generated 70% of the price volume. So it's worth noting that there was a group or participants were able to take price outside of value. Okay, so for me right now, assuming that the bulls indeed have the resources to take the market higher, well, this level right here, value area high, is going to be important for me. Okay, if the bulls are indeed in control or are gaining control of the market, price should not come back inside value. Should not. Okay, this area should be an area where we would expect price to bounce off of. Okay, right? If I'm bullish on this market, I would not want to see price come back inside value. All right. If it comes back inside value, then whoever these participants on the left are probably going to get a little bit more confident and potentially drive price even further than where it is today. Okay. All right. So that's kind of what I'm looking at as far as scenarios go. Okay. So let's see. I'm just double checking some of these levels. We got value area high, point of control seems to be in order. We got value area low. That's also in order. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my ADR zone. So we are right off of ADR, right? Notice how we've gotten a reaction off of it. I don't make these things up, guys. This is how price reacts to things. This would have been even if we had this bullish move, this would have been, and again, this is not necessarily, we're not necessarily done with this move, right? We are still very much inside this bearish channel. Now, if price does close above, then yes, then most likely we are going to see a continuation to the upside. But as long as price remains in the channel, I have to feel that the market is going to continue lower, okay, or remain in the channel in the sort of the slope that it's currently in, okay. All right, let's see. We're going to go ahead and open up ASR now that we've gotten the US market open here. So we have the London kind of levels here. We have 67.89 here. So we'll go ahead and modify that 67.89 here. And then on the bottom, we have 65.62. 65.62 is average session range low. Okay. So we'll go ahead and modify that. Okay. Here, not modify it. We've already modified it. I'm just going to go ahead and copy it so that I can update the spreadsheet here. So, we capture as accurate a level as I can. All right. All right. So let's see what other hypos. So like I said, if we remain in the channel, I would have to say that we have a reasonable chance to get back to value area high. Once we get to value area high, assuming we get back that value area high, that would be a reasonable location for the market participants who drove price outside of value to come back and step in. Again, I'm just trying to, I guess I'm come up with a little bit of a story here, okay, to support it and use evidence, price evidence. One for location, right? If I were in a bull's shoes, what would I want to see? Okay. Morning settlement is wrong on Top Step X. Okay. Well, settlement is, what is settlement? Settlement is 65.70, 65.75. Is that where you're getting, Paula? 65.75 as settlement. I'm not using Top Step X. I'm using Trading View. Okay. So I'll wait for Paula to confirm that. Yeah. All right. So in any case, we can adjust that, right? We can adjust those lines. We have 68.75 is our settlement price. Okay. All right. Yeah. So again, right now, I would say that the market at least has, I think, a little bit of a runway to get down to value area low, not value area low, value area high. Okay. I'm not sure that necessarily is an opportunity that I would like to be a part of. Okay. Seems to be very opportunistic. But what the one thing it does have going for it, it is somewhat aligned with what the higher time frame is telling us as far as the market direction. So it has that going for it. Okay. Yes, we do have EIA today. So that's not, again, probably not something that I would want to participate in, given that we have news in the horizon. It's probably the market is going to be a little bit muted until then. Okay. So yeah, and that's probably the reason we have such a narrow initial balance range, because nobody wants to take the market in any sort of direction without understanding inventories. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the equities. Sorry, guys. And let's look at the Nasdaq. I was going to come up with a new name for the Nasdaq. All right. All right. Moving on. Let's see. We'll go ahead and move on to the daily chart here, guys. Okay. So we're asking the question is, what is the market trying to accomplish? Well, we're flirting with the possibility, okay, flirting with the possibility of breaking some structure to the upside. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off here for now. I'm going to leave my supply and demand tool. Okay, but you can see here that we've kind of bounced off the top of supply, and currently we are reacting away from it. So again, if you are a fib person or a Elliott wave person, well, there's a possibility that we can get a 100% extension, or at least get back to the highs, okay, in this market based on what we're seeing here, okay, because on the daily we're starting to see that we got a break of structure, okay, we didn't get a new low, right, although new lows were made. We are starting to see that there's some reaction, and maybe this is a result of what the CPI had to say, or had what folks anticipated the CPI was going to say. Okay, so I think there's a fair opportunity for price to get back to the high of day, all right, or high of Thursday. It's certainly not out of the realm of possibilities here. Okay, before we resume any sort of move back to the downside. Okay, that's kind of what I'm seeing in this market at the moment. All right, now if price does close below, then I would say then we have the will continue to the downside. But right now we have yet to make a new low in the recent past 1, 2, 3 days. This last candle obviously is still under development. Okay, so it appears to me that the Nasdaq is trying to head higher. Okay, all right. 4-hour chart. Okay, again, I'm going to leave my levels there. Let's see if we can get those drawn. Okay, where's my top? Let's see if we can open this up here. Okay, there's my top. So the supply and demand zones have been established. Now you can see here that this 4-hour bar is starting to peak above not only structure but also settlement. Okay, so this could provide enough of impetus or enough momentum to get certainly back to the supply zone that I had before. That kind of changed on me. All right, this one here. Okay, this 19,043, and then 19,000, okay, is something that we've been talking about for some time as being an area of potential resistance in this market. Okay, so 19,000 is this 19,100. Price needs to get above that level to really kind of embrace the bulls. Okay, we're starting to see some evidence that the market participants are either liking what they're hearing from the Fed, or have gotten some sort of news that indicates to them that maybe it's not such a bad idea to continue to buy here. Okay, all right. So for our chart, for me, is looking more and more bullish. Okay, if this manages in the next 45 minutes to close above, that would add further evidence to that view. Okay, 30-minute chart. All right, looking at the 30-minute chart, as I mentioned, we are kind of flirting with, supply zones. Okay, we are above value, and we are above settlement. We are above daily VWAP, and I'm going to go ahead, and I didn't do this for the other markets, but I'm going to go ahead and draw an anchor VWAP here. All right, so we have everything indicating so far. Let's see if maybe I can open up an EMA or two. That's not telling me anything different. Okay, so this, I believe, the gold one is the EMA, 233-day EMA. So you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe 5 items indicating that maybe there's some higher prices in store for the Nasdaq. Okay, let's open up our levels here. Make sure that we capture our levels on our charts. Okay, here we are. So I'm going to go ahead and capture those levels here. That's now on my chart, the levels. Go back to my screen. Okay. All right. So first order of business, just to kind of ensure that we're looking at the right volume profile, and it does appear that way. So we're going to go ahead and mark up our chart to, I guess, double confirm what we have established here. All right. So we have value area high, okay, is coming in at 18,836. Okay. Well, this came a little bit lower, so we'll just go ahead and modify that. 18,836. I don't know if it's a question of me not seeing things right when I generate these in the evening, 18,836, or whether these are actively changing. All right. So yeah, so this is an even number. So this 18,836, okay, is my value area high. Go ahead and cancel. I don't want to cancel. I want to click OK. And then my value area low is 18,695. I'm going to go ahead and leave that one there. We're off by a point. I'm not worried about that. And then 18,768 is our point of control. We have 18,864, which is at the top of the market, is our settlement, and price is currently above it. So let's see, settlement 864. Okay, all good. Average daily range, we still have some runway to the upside in this market. So 19,035, which is established. And then on the bottom side, we have, I should say the downside is 18,640. And then what else? Let's see. There we go. Okay, we have a couple of other levels. We have 18,980, and then we have 18,062. 662. Okay, so yeah, the levels all seem in order here. Okay, so right now, without any sort of guidance from the initial balance, just based on volume profile, just based on what we're seeing with the respect to how price is reacting, I would say that we should be looking for opportunities to the bullish side. Okay, in this market. As much as that might be surprising to hear, but looking at these series of candles, looking at this kind of sweep, looks like this is a pretty nasty move here. Okay, as a result of news, we came and stopped out a bunch of buyers, and what did they do? They just continued. So basically, swept away some weak buyers and continued to take the market higher. Not very nice, if you ask me. Okay. Someone is not wanting any passengers on the bull train. Okay, all right. Yeah. So what areas would I be focused on for potential, assuming that we close above all these levels? Well, certainly the top of this level, settlement price, value area high are probably a couple of areas. We have our VWAP. If you really want to refine VWAP, you could potentially draw one a little bit closer to the market here. So this is another pivot. Okay, this might be another. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. How did I get that? I click on VWAP and I get a line. Interesting. Okay, so this one right here. So this might be an area here that I might use. Okay, even this little candle. Okay, not to get too crazy here, guys, but even this little candle that caused the market to reverse might be something that we could use to refine our opportunity to the upside. Okay, because this is an indication that buyers stepped into this market, right? Sellers weren't able to take it any further than 18,730 before buyers stepped into this market. Okay. All right. I'm not seeing any questions, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the ES. All right. So ES here is on the bottom left. Again, looking relatively bullish. So we'll go ahead and open this up here. And then we'll turn off some of our levels. Okay. And leave our supply zones. So we'll take a look at the daily chart to start. Looking at the daily chart again, we're starting to see a series of candles that would indicate kind of to what we were seeing on the Nasdaq. This feels like maybe a leg that's developing um, uh, around the same. I'm just kind of this is kind of very crude measure, guys, but this is kind of what I'm seeing as the potential of the move. Okay, on the daily chart, similar kind of analysis that we did using the Fibonacci extension tool. All right, 4-hour chart. All right, so 4-hour chart. I'm going to move this away here a little bit. Okay. Again, we're starting to see a series of candles that would indicate that maybe there's some upside potential. Now, what area could cause price to kind of stall? Well, it could stall around 55.34, maybe as high as 55.60. It could stall there. You could see that we had some I guess a temporary balance here before they decided to continue taking it lower. Okay. So what was supportive, okay, could be now resistant. Okay. So if I really am going to embrace the longs on a 4-hour chart, I'd like to see price above 55.40. Okay. If price manages to get above 55.40 or 55.45, then maybe I can look for the market to head back to the highs of day. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the volume profile here. We'll go ahead and look for, let's see, the opening bar for what is that? I'm still looking at the. Let's move on to the 30-minute, guys. Sorry, apologize. I thought I was looking at a 30-minute chart already. Okay. All right. So let's. Again, it's a lot of bullish behavior we're seeing here. Now it feels more like of a breakout trade, which I'm not a fan of. I'm not personally a fan of, but I can't deny that there are some bullish participants who have stepped into the market here. All right, so let's go ahead now and open up. Well, we did that. We have our volume profile. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add our levels. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up the spreadsheet. We're going to move to the ES here and add our levels to the chart. Here we are. Okay, so these are our levels. We're going to go ahead and double confirm them. Okay. All right, so we have a lot of confluence here with supply and settlement and value area high. So we got value area high at 55.04. Yeah, so value area high and settlement are pretty much the same price. We have value area low coming in at 54.78. That's in line. Point of control, that's also 54.97. That's in line. I'm going to go open up ADR. Well, ADR is well above us here at 55.38. That's in line. And then we have on the bottom side 54.60. That's also in line. All right. So yeah, levels look good. I would say again, guys, that we should probably be, I guess be a little patient. I guess certainly is in order. Wait for the initial balance range maybe to establish before picking a direction in the market. But if someone were to, how do you say, force me to say what direction do you think the market is going, I would have to say to the upside. Okay. Yeah. So Captain Jack, yeah, I'm not a fan of taking breakout trades. I don't want to be first in line as much as I'd like to be first in line and catch the move. I would like to see Captain Jack. I would like to see, price established that it's able to get above a level. Okay. And then use that same level that it left as an area for me to participate. Okay. So yeah. So right now volume seems to be consistent, right? For higher prices, right? You can see here that we have rising volume and price is reacting to that. So if this closes in the next 7 minutes, which is the open of the market, with some vigor, okay, then yes, I will look for value area high and settlement to serve as a pullback zone for price to continue. Okay. What I don't want to see, Captain Jack, is for price to peak above, if I'm bullish, peak above and close back inside value. That would be an indication for me that maybe price does not have the participants to make the bullish move happen. But what is a little bit suspicious to me, guys, is this candle right here. Okay, this candle, yeah, potential. This candle right here is what's causing me, I guess, to be a little bit more bullish. Okay, is that they were willing to take the market down. Okay, as a result of the news. Someone digested the news and said, you know what, this is favorable for a bull, or favorable for bullish action. So that this candle alone is telling me that there's maybe a possibility of upside, but I'm not, as Captain Jack is alluding to, I'm not going to buy on the first signs of bullish action. Okay. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be waiting. Notice this is a classic example. Okay. We close inside value. What was the first area that it checked before it continued? The same area it broke. Okay. That's kind of what I'm looking for here. If we are going to break value area high, I'm not going to be the first one to buy it. What I'm going to be waiting for is a test of that. Now, if I miss it, I miss it. All right. If there's no real serious pullback, so be it. Okay. I'm okay with that. All right. I need some pullback to a reference level where I can manage my risk. Okay. All right. Any other questions, Captain Jack? Hopefully I answered your questions. Again, nothing definitive, whether this is a bull trap or not. Okay. Yes. Yes. The path forward would be wait for retest and confirmation. We have our levels. Now it's a matter of whether price is going to give us an opportunity. I say if price gives us an opportunity, we're not gonna force our hands here. Notice how I'm talking to myself. I'm not going to out of emotions, chase a market. All right. That's the worst thing that we can do. All right. Wait for your levels, stalk your levels, wait for price action. Yeah. Wait for price action. All right. Okay. That's pretty much what I have for the ES guys. I think you need to look for opportunities to the bullish side, but I'm not, how we say, married to that idea. Okay. I've been through this before where I get a peak above. I think the market is going to go to the moon only to be slapped back down. Okay. So I'm going to be patient, wait for an area that I can feel I can manage my risk. And then if the opportunity aligns with my process, then I take the trade. If it doesn't, it moves without me. So be it. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So let's close out this session with a view of the Dow. Okay. I'm taking a peek here. We still have a fair number of participants in the room. The Dow is usually where people start to shut down on me. But any case, I think the Dow is a viable market to trade, guys, especially if you are new to futures. Okay. I think it's a quite good starting instrument, mainly because it allows you to trade your process because you're taking on less risk. $5 per tick allows you to keep your mindset aligned with your processes. Okay. All right. Looking at the daily. Okay. Now this one here doesn't look quite as bullish. Okay. Quite as bullish as the other markets we were just talking of. Okay. Now, while we are getting some buyers, while we're getting some buyers, some wicks here, okay, it doesn't appear to me as strong as, say, the maybe some of the other markets. I think the other markets at least were giving me a couple of candles in the direction. Okay. Yeah. So in any case, this out of all the three equity markets that we've seen, I would say that the Dow right now looks the most bearish to me. Okay. Even though we are getting some wicks here based on the daily. All right. 4-hour chart. Okay. What I don't have on this chart, which I'm about to add here, is the supply and demand by Lux Algo. Actually, I'm kind of finding, feeling that's actually, yeah. So the markets rallied with that. Okay. All right. So, all right. So from a supply and demand zones, okay, we've reacted off of a demand. Okay, right now, possibly. I don't know if that necessarily the conclusion I would make, but certainly that's kind of what the market is saying to us at the moment, right? Okay, so for our chart, looks like 40,000 468 seems to be a supportive area. Okay, we've gotten some rejection candles away from this area. Okay, looking at the 30-minute chart. Okay, now I don't have necessarily any levels for the Dow, guys, but we did get we got a push away from demand. We came back to demand during this CPI report, and it was bought up, right? It was bought up. Okay, so right now it appears to me, assuming that we're able to break above, say, 40,700. Okay, that we could see higher prices. Now, what's bothering me here a little bit is that the VWAP is really not giving us a clear indication of what it wants to do. Okay, so we've had VWAP close above only to be met with sellers. We had VWAP close above only to be met with sellers. And now it's having a little bit of trouble getting above. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's start with the volume profile here, and we're going to locate the volume profile from establish the volume profile for Tuesday, and we're going to drag that across here to close the market. So first order of business is that we are inside value. Okay, we did take a peek below. It was met with buyers. We just had the open of the market here, so we'll see what the initial balance begins to tell us. Okay, and the first reaction was down. Okay, all right, first reaction down. All right. Now, if we do close below, right? If we do close below value and below the initial balance range from yesterday, then like I said before, the Dow felt a little bit more bearish, than the other equity markets. And market open and dumped. Okay. So yeah, market open and dumped is fine. Like I said, I don't trade the open. Yeah, you too, Alejandro. I don't trade the open, right? So I wait for the initial balance range to establish, and then based on if it does extend, then I participate if I feel like it's an opportunity or not. So that's part of the reason, right? Dump early and then only to trap a bunch of bears, and then they take the market up. But when we were reviewing these charts on a higher time frame, it seemed that the Dow was a little bit more bearish than the other two markets. So that's something to make note of. But Himachali, you make a good point. Okay. All right. So let's capture some of these levels, guys. And I know that you guys all want to move on into the markets, and I want to kind of get a feel for what the markets are doing as well. All right. So we have an ADR here. Okay, ADR high at 41,055. Okay. Okay, and then we have value area high here at what was that, 40,811 is our value area. I'm just going to abbreviate it as VAH, value area high. Okay, settlement price at 40,798 is our settlement. Okay, in this market. Okay, and then let's see. Point of control is coming in at 40,678. Okay. Point of control. All right. So right now the market's pushing lower. And then we have value area low, which we are currently below now, is at 40,618. 40,618 is our value area low, and it's also beginning working below our average daily range. So we have VAL and ADR. Let's see, ADR low at 45.57. 557. Okay, 557 is our ADR low. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and open up ASR, okay, average session range, and make sure that this states in New York. It does. Okay, so these are our levels from an average session range, and I just went ahead and wiped out my geez, bummer. Okay, let's add our average session range. Hopefully you guys capture that. If I do, rather than recreate that, guys, I'm gonna pass. But I will leave you with the average. So average session range high. Okay, average session range high at 40,892 and 40,446 is our average session range low. Okay. What is point of control? Point of control, Captain Jack, is the price in which we have the greatest amount of volume traded, both buy and sell. Okay. It is the greatest amount of volume traded in yesterday's session. Okay. Now you could, if you wanted to do you could do a volume profile, right? For the current session. Okay. And then you can establish, you can establish what the market is doing now. Okay. But I generally don't look at that because this is going to be changing on me all the time, right? As soon as I get a fix on what the market is doing, the market and the point of control will adjust. So I'm not sure how much value that is. Okay. All right. This is a volume, a dynamic volume profile. Okay. Now, I will say that we are in extreme levels, right? We're outside this area, right? Run up all night and dump. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible that's what it's doing here. Okay. All right, guys. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. I would say that until this initial balance range is complete, I would have to say that we should probably be, at least on the Dow, and maybe I haven't seen ES or Nasdaq recently, but if the Dow is any indication, it's probably heading lower as well. I'm not sure, but in any case, it appears that the Dow certainly wants to head lower. So again, rather than chasing this market, I'm going to be looking for an area where I could potentially participate to the downside in this market, but it has to be at a level. I'm not going to chase. I'm not going to be the last guy to sell here, only for market participants to come into the market and rip the market higher. So if I'm going to be bearish, the first area that I'm going to be looking at is 40,600. This is the last area where there was support. So if it doesn't manage, if it does close this way, then this seems to be the first area where sellers could again step in. Okay. All right. I think that's it, guys. Sorry, I apologize for the levels here. Look, I got erased as I was opening up my ASR, but hopefully you're now versed enough in my view of the market that you can recreate these things on your own. Okay, that's your homework assignment for those who trade the Dow. All right, understand where the value areas are, average daily range, things of that nature. Okay, so I'll pause here and to see if there's any questions Also encourage you guys, if you found the content that I provided helpful in your understanding of the market and feel that has supported you in that front, don't be afraid to hit the like button. Okay. Don't be afraid to comment along those lines in social media as you see maybe some of these posts, especially on Twitter, or I call it Twitter. It's called X. Okay. Um, don't be afraid to comment in those areas. Okay. You're welcome, David. All right. So as I close every market, guys, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right, guys. Have a good day. We will have, I believe, yes, we will have group coaching today at our normal time at 6 p.m. Central. All right. On the Top Step server, if you don't know where that is located. Okay. Otherwise, again, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right, guys, have a good day.